Hello, everyone, and welcome to the wisconsinprepzone.com scoreboard show for Week 3. Rob Hernandez, Dennis Semrau. Dennis, a lot to get to. Let's start in the Big 8 Conference for tonight. Madison West gets a pair of second-half interceptions and holds off Madison Memorial 28-27 to regain the Burt Hobley Clipboard Award, the trophy for the first time since 2008. Alex Brown's third-quarter touchdown pass to Aubrey Johnson and Jorge Morales' PAT kick hold up as the final margin. I thought we expected a tight ball game, but I really thought Memorial would have the offensive fireworks to pull this one out.
You missed 4 point-after touchdowns, 2 kicks, and 2 failed 2-point attempts, and that's going to come back and bite you. The second half was a low-scoring game. That's what happens. A lot of games get out, and then teams make adjustments, and Alex Brown is for real as quarterback.
Yeah, he has a great night tonight, and the win for West moves him to 3-0 for the first time since 2005. And Dennis, it sets up a showdown next week, third week in a row for West at Middleton. The Cardinals tonight, they win 35-7 over Madison East, so it's West, Middleton, Sun Prairie, the 3 remaining unbeaten teams atop the Big 8.
Who would have thought the Regents would be there, right?
Unbelievable after a 1-win season a year ago.
It's good for those kids.
Elsewhere in the Big 8 tonight, Sun Prairie pounded Janesville Craig 45-7. Verona rolled up 65 points and beats Madison La Follette 65-34. Janesville Parker knocked off Beloit Memorial 26-6. Dennis, Southern Badger Conference tonight. You were at the big game, our WisconsinPrepZone.com game of the week down at Fort Atkinson, where Monona Grove gets a big play on the final play of the game and holds off Fort Atkinson 24-21. You know, Mike Stassi told us it would be a close game. They get all they could handle from Fort. He was right.
We might still be there if Steve Mahoney doesn't decide to go for the touchdown. He believed in his kids. They had 4 straight shots on 1st and 10 from the 20, and Brett Piercy knocked away a pass. Evan Oldenburg knocked away a couple, and James Connors back there. 3 key offensive players.
Wow.
You might like 2-platoon football, but your best players better be on the field at the end. They were, and Oldenburg, just a fingertip.
Really?
So football is a game of inches. He proved it tonight.
And Dennis, the showdown's not done yet from Monona Grove, believe it or not. Another surprise team, Stoughton, gets a 15-yard TD pass from Tony Volk to Shane Rowley. They improved to 3-0 with a 13-10 win over Milton. Stoughton plays next week at Monona Grove. Both teams unbeaten conference play. This is the last one for all the marbles in the Southern Badger.
Stoughton has been building for the last couple of years. A very big senior class. They have 4 returning offensive linemen, and including Jesse Nelson on the defensive side, who was 3rd at state wrestling last year. He's a very big force for them over there. But a senior quarterback and the 3rd of the Gerbers. We have another Gerber over there.
Wow.
They just keep coming out for Stoughton, and they've been due. Stoughton has struggled for a while. They need to get in the playoffs for that program, and right now they're on the verge.
It'll be fun next week at Monona Grove. One other Badger Conference South score, Madison Edgewood dumped Monroe 31-21. Northern Badger, Dennis, I was at the big game down at Mount Horeb, where Mount Horeb-Barneveld got a huge defensive effort tonight and blanked DeForest, beating the Norskis for the first time since 2006. DeForest gained more yards, Dennis, off Viking penalties, 144 yards, than they did in total offense, 125. A pretty impressive performance for Mount Horeb-Barneveld. We hear a lot about their offense. They've scored a lot of points the first 2 weeks, but they showed tonight they can play some defense.
Yeah, Coach talked early in the season about they always have skilled players, but they needed some linemen. Looks like both sides of the line have been very tough, especially tonight. I think they proved that.
Only getting better. A lot of work to do before that Week 8 showdown with Wanakee, but Mount Horeb-Barneveld looking really good tonight. Elsewhere in the Northern Badger, Reedsburg knocks off Portage 33-19. Baraboo blanks Sauk Prairie 21-0 in the Badger crossover game this week. Wanakee routs Oregon 63-7. Last week of non-conference play in the Capital Conference, Lodi avoided going to 0-3, but needed overtime to do it, getting a 29-yard field goal from Donnie Mankey to beat New Glarus Monticello 20-17. Your buddy Donnie Mankey.
Knew Donnie was going to come through for at least one.
At least one a season.
I'm waiting for a 50-yarder this year. I think he's got it in him.
Yeah, that's we'll see. And it may come down to that Northern Capital Conference, real competitive. Look at some of these scores tonight. Marshall, the favorite in the Southern Capital, falls 31-7 to Lakeside Lutheran. Lake Mills gets past Cambridge 31-28. Poinette rolls past Wisconsin Heights 58-7, and Columbus edges Belleville 13-3. Tell you what, that North going into that first week of conference play next week, all teams looking pretty powerful.
I think Lakeside Lutheran's a team to beat up there, but now there's some competition, Poinette and Lake Mills in particular.
Yeah, a couple games from around the area tonight. In the Six Rivers Conference, Potosi wins the showdown game at Blanchardville against Pecatonica Argyle 35-20. Small Trailways Conference tonight. Rio stays in first place with a 34-8 win over Johnson Creek. In the Rock Valley Conference, crossover games tonight. Walworth Bigfoot 38, Evansville nothing.
Mason Dixon.
Mason Dixon again, 196 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Dennis, a big game in non-conference play tonight. Lancaster beats a pretty quality opponent from the South Central Conference in Nakusa, 35-7. That sets up a showdown next week as they begin conference play in the SWC. Lancaster and Platteville, one of many. River Valley also won tonight. So the big three in that conference, again, ending non-conference play on a positive note, and I'm looking forward to some of these conferences finally getting into conference play.
Getting into play as we reach the halfway point, week 4.
The halfway point of this 8-week season, and teams beginning to move within a game of clinching playoff berths, and before long some of these conferences will sort out the conference races. But right now, Badger, Big 8, still very much muddled, and some interesting games to look forward to down the stretch. But we had a lot tonight, and you can read all about it on wisconsinprepzone.com and in your Saturday editions of the Wisconsin State Journal. For Dennis Semrau, I'm Rob Hernandez. Thanks for watching the Scoreboard Show. We'll see you next week.